Hello everyone, today we want to talk euthanasia. It can split into two parts. One is active and other one is passive. Both of them can also split into two parts. That is voluntary and involuntary. I will introduce the voluntary euthanasia. Passive point is refuse to receive treatment and not using unusual or risking therapy. And the active point is causing death with permission, helping patients without hope of cure and his or her life, or mercy killing.
Okay, here I want to introduce the involuntary euthanasia. Involuntary is that the patient who don't have their own mind to select what they want to do. So, first, passive point is that the family decided to stop treatment because they think they don't want the patient to have more pain. So, and at the active point is that it is to let patient end of their life without them selected, because it may cost a lot of money to take care of them.
各国介绍 There are currently only 6 countries that have legalized euthanasia. Critics says the act is a murder or assisted suicide suspect. In the Netherlands, where euthanasia is to be carried out, the patient is willing to do so, and the doctor proves that the patient is in a state of non-relief or intolerability. The doctor and patient must first agree that euthanasia is their only select. The number of euthanasia executions in Belgium has risen from 235 in 2003 to 1432 in 2012, resulting in a growth rate of about 6 times in 10 years. The attitude of the United States for euthanasia may still tend to conservative. It can be divided into active and passive euthanasia. We think that may be related to the sense of morality.
I will talk to you about euthanasia in Taiwan and what's going on now. And it's not legalized in Taiwan now, and there is a compromising way to achieve. It's called hospice palliative care. And this one is legalized in Taiwan, and it is only for terminal illness patients. And it's about a decision of to or not to receive life-sustaining treatment or CPR. And non-applying CPR or LST shall be complied with findings, be diagnosed to by terminal illness patient by 2 physicians. A signed letter of intent is required if he or she is not adult or can express his or her willingness. The legal representative shall sign the letter of intent. And how it works. is to ease the pain of illness instead of cure it, which can be cured. Not to use CPR or LST to prolong the life and let them die with dignity. And it's to improve the patient's quality of life and dignity.
I believe that everyone should have the right to choose their time of death. We can't choose whether we want to live, how we want to live, or which family we can live with. So why on earth can't we have a chance to decide when and how we want to die? And you see, this poor old man lying in bed and can say the word straight, and he can't even be cured. And why do we have to let him suffer and keep on living while he can die with dignity and dignity reserved, and he have his own choice?
The issue of euthanasia has been discussed in the whole world. Some people think that is no humankind. In my opinion, I think this is suitable for some people who suffer great sick and the pain expecting euthanasia. Nowadays, it is impossible to deal with all the sick, especially the cancer. All the technique nowadays progress a lot, but cancer has not been discovered now, and that's quite other happen in humans, giving them severe pain on their body, causing extreme painful. Most of people who suffer this disease only want to have the environment that we are painful. Thus, giving the euthanasia is one of the best solutions for them. Can directly make their demand achieved.
I disagree to the idea of having euthanasia because there are people who insist their family members to take euthanasia because they want the insurance money. And I would like to argue that because that people may think that insisting their family members to take euthanasia is because they have sympathy for them. They think they feel sorry for them, so they insist them to take euthanasia. But I want to say that there are people who do this because they want money. My first point is euthanasia much more economical? Because euthanasia is act of killing people, so people may think that it costs a lot of money compared to the medical expenses, but that isn't true. Here are the countries that legalize euthanasia: Switzerland, Holland, Luxembourg, Belgium, and some of the states in America. And I would like to focus on Switzerland. In Switzerland, there are assisted suicide organizations. There's one called Exit, and the other one is called Dignitas. In Exit, there are over than 75,000 people who registered, and the membership fee is 45 Swiss francs. That would be 1,370 Taiwan dollar. And Dignitas, the membership fee, if you add up the membership fee and the other money, that would be 7,000 US dollar. That would be 224,000 Taiwan dollars. People may think that that's a big amount of money, but compared to the medical fees that we continuously pay, that money is just really small. Here are the medical expenses that we have to pay in order to make one person live. If they let them stay in the ICU, that'll be 24,337 Taiwan dollar per day. And these stuff are the things that are really essential to make one person live, and you can't exclude them. And if you add up all these monies, that'll be this much, and that's per week. And compared to the amount of money we have to pay to take euthanasia is 224,000 Taiwan dollar, and that's a huge gap of amount of money. So the financial burden is just too much for an ordinary family to bear. So what the family would think is they would try to get the insurance money after their family's death. So when the people are seriously ill or mentally unstable, they won't be able to make the right decision. So the family would think of a way to make the patient agree to euthanasia. And as a family member, what they would think is the best for the family. They want their family to be happy, so eventually they will decide to take euthanasia. And here is the average insurance money we can get after our family member's death. 747,000 Taiwan dollar may be a very small amount of money, but compared to the money we have to continuously pay, that's really beneficial. And just by paying 224,000 Taiwan dollar for the euthanasia, and you get $747, that's really big compared to the money you could have lost when you let that person live. So I want to restate my idea that because there are people who would force their family members for insurance money, in order to keep the patient's rights to make their own decision, we shouldn't have euthanasia. Thank you.
I think euthanasia should not be legalization, because euthanasia just like deprive people life. Maybe someone will think if those patients still live in this world, that will be very painful. In the same time, people will not have faith with our medical, so just let them die comfortable. But if those patients can be healed, those family cannot give up and have hope.
The patient may be your parents or your other family members. If you agree the euthanasia, you are killed. Do you want to become the killer? If your answer is no, refuse the euthanasia.
Well, a person who became disabled is usually cost a lot of money to cure. For example, nursing care, medicine, tonic, and so on. But there is two questions. First, Should we took a lot of money and resource on a person who disabled? Second, can the family afford the huge cost?
I see. Now in Taiwan, we have too many old people for us to take care. It may let us to pay more money on them. Also, for take care of them, we must use lots of research for them. So I agree to the active euthanasia.
Humans' lives are precious and they are not measurable with money. If his survival is possible, we should try our best to save him. When money is spent, it can be earned, but if a life is gone, it is gone. So we should not just approve the euthanasia.
I want to talk about my story as an example. Several years ago, my father had a stroke, and then he went into shock. By the time we thought it's not a big deal, everyone gets stroke. So we tell the doctor to do whatever they can to save my father. And he had been in ICU for 3 months. And since he had a stroke, his left side was paralyzed. He can't walk, go to the toilet. He can't even sit well if he wants to. He can't even sit well. If he wants to go to other places, he needs assistance. Then he was diagnosed as colorectal cancer. And this situation lasts for about 3 years. He yells, shouts, and hits and scolds. He can't control his emotions with his pain. If there's a law for euthanasia in Taiwan, I believe that my father don't really have to suffer as much. And our family don't really have to suffer as much. He can choose whether he wants to live for peace or for us. Not just living without a purpose, since he can barely live by himself.